All right, today we're going to run through 3 clips of Orlando versus Kelvin in their second fight. And a quick shout out to YouTube handle Borakua for Life, U for M, for making this request. Totally get it. Orlando was a nightmare. And as always, we're going to get nerdy in this film study. I'm going to call this one The Path Not Taken. And that just means we're going to look at what Orlando did, but more importantly, what Kelvin could have done. Oh, and one idea I want to touch on is the explanation of beats. So my definition of a beat is a chance for a fighter to do something, whether that's defend, attack, or counter. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so on the first beat, Kelvin will jab and Orlando does a rear hand catch. Then on the second beat, Orlando's in a counter jab and Kelvin does not defend or counter. And that's where the path not taken comes in. So the question is, what could have Kelvin done? Let's rewind and find out. All right, what were Kelvin's options if he had his next beat in the pattern ready to go? So, for example, he could have pulled to his rear foot, what I would call a bladed pull on that second beat, and then fired a rear cross on the third. Or he could have dropped to his open side on that second beat and then come back with a rear overhand on the third. Or another choice could have been moving in, turning these toes of his rear foot, rotating his shoulders from bladed to square on that second beat. Then on the third beat, throw a lead hook to the body or head. And if he wanted to really challenge Orlando and punch with him on the same beat, he could have thrown a rear cross to the body right as Orlando was jabbing. All right, moving on. All right, on this next clip, Kelvin will jab and Orlando's going to slip in on a 45 on that first beat. Then on the second beat, Orlando's going to throw his lead uppercut while Kelvin drops, looking to catch. And note, weight is on his rear foot. So Kelvin attacked on the first beat, defended on the second, but then did not counter on the third. So in the path not taken, what could have Kelvin done? Let's rewind and find out. Now we have a jab on that first beat, a drop and catch on that second beat. So the question is, what could have Kelvin done on the third beat? He could have countered with a rear straight from this position. So second beat is the drop catch and the third beat is a rear straight. Oh, and I want to talk about one more. What if Kelvin went in on the second beat instead of dropping on the second beat? Meaning instead of catching it on his rear foot, he could have rotated his shoulders square, placing his weight on his lead foot, caught it there, and then countered out with a lead hook. So weight here, then counter. But I will mention Orlando already was ready for that outcome. Check out his rear hand cover. All right, moving on. So here's our last clip. On the first beat, Kelvin will jab as Orlando drops. And note, Kelvin's weight is on his lead foot while Orlando's weight is on his rear foot. Then on the second beat, Orlando's going to catch Kelvin with this overhand. So the question is, what could have Kelvin done on that second beat instead? Let's rewind and find out. Again, we have the jab drop on that first beat. And so for the second beat, Kelvin could have mirrored Orlando's first beat with a drop to the open side. Then on the third beat, he could have countered either with a rear uppercut or a rear overhand. And that would have put the decision back on Orlando, since Orlando would now have all his weight over that lead foot after throwing that overhand. So that's the idea. Kelvin often left beats unused. The path not taken shows us the choices he could have made, maybe a pull, a drop, or an in. And against a nightmare like Orlando, missing those beats meant giving away potential opportunities. And with that said, Kelvin, if you happen to be watching this, I think you're brilliant too. All right, let me know in the comments if you want more of a particular fighter. Keep rocking.